Prologue. A world on the brink, the Earth was dying. Centuries of unchecked industrialization, deforestation, and overpopulation had pushed the planet to its limits. Rising seas swallowed coastal cities while droughts turned fertile lands into barren wastelands. By the year 2247, humanity's survival depended not on fixing their broken home, but on finding a new one. In response, the United Earth Coalition, UEC, launched Project Thunder, an ambitious interstellar mission to colonize Proxima Centauri b, the closest known exoplanet capable of supporting life. It was a desperate gamble. A fleet of 3 massive ships carrying thousands of colonists, scientists, engineers, and soldiers would travel light years across the void in search of salvation. But as the countdown began, few aboard the fleet truly believed they'd succeed. For many, this journey wasn't about hope. It was about defiance, a final act of rebellion against the inevitability of extinction. Chapter 1. Into the Void, Doctor. Elena Voss stood on the observation deck of the flagship vessel, Aegis, staring out at the receding blue orb of Earth. Her fingers tightened around the railing as memories surfaced unbidden. Her daughter laughing in the garden, her husband holding her hand during that last storm when the power grid failed. She clenched her jaw, forcing the images away. There was no room for grief here. Not now. Still thinking about them? Came a voice behind her. Captain Marcus Hale approached, his tall frame silhouetted against the dim lights of the ship. His face bore the weariness of someone who had spent decades preparing for missions like this. Yet his eyes remained sharp and determined. Elena nodded without turning. Every time I look back, she admitted quietly, I keep wondering if we're doing the right thing, leaving everything behind. Hale placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. We don't have a choice, Doctor. If we stay, we die. This is our only shot. She sighed, finally meeting his gaze. And what happens if we fail? What then? He paused, considering her question. Then at least we tried. Sometimes trying is all you can do. Before either could say more, the intercom crackled to life. Attention all personnel, announced Commander Sarah Lynn, the operations officer. We are approaching the edge of the solar system. Prepare for transition to hyperspace in T-10 minutes. Elena straightened, pushing her emotions aside. As lead astrophysicist of Project Thunder, she had work to do. The crew relied on her expertise to ensure the fleet navigated safely through deep space. Turning away from the window, she followed Hale toward the command center. Chapter 2. The silent expanse. For weeks, the fleet traveled through the emptiness between stars. Hyperspace reduced the journey from centuries to mere years, but even within the protective bubble of their ships, the silence outside was deafening. No radio signals, no signs of intelligent life, not even natural cosmic phenomena. Not a single anomaly disturbed the vast void. It's unnatural, muttered Dr. Liam Carter, Elena's colleague and fellow scientist. They were seated in the research lab, reviewing data collected by the fleet sensors. Space isn't supposed to be this quiet. Elena frowned, scrolling through the readings. Maybe we're just looking in the wrong places. Or maybe... She hesitated, unsure how to phrase her thoughts. Maybe what? Prompted Carter. Maybe the universe doesn't want us here, she finished softly. Maybe we're intruding. Her words hung heavy in the air, echoing the growing unease among the crew. Conversations in the mess hall often turned philosophical. Was humanity meant to leave Earth? Were they destined to find new worlds or none at all? Captain Hale addressed these concerns during a mandatory briefing. Standing before the assembled crew, he spoke with calm authority. Whatever lies ahead, we must remember why we're here. We carry the future of our species on our shoulders. Fear will not stop us. His speech bolstered morale temporarily, but the silence persisted. And with each passing day, it grew louder. Chapter 3. Arrival at Proxima Centauri. Years passed, though time felt irrelevant aboard the ships. Finally, the fleet emerged from hyperspace near Proxima Centauri b. The planet loomed large in the viewport, a frozen world shrouded in icy clouds, its surface glinting faintly under the dim red glow of its parent star. Initial scans revealed promising conditions beneath the ice. Liquid water oceans, trace amounts of oxygen, and geothermal activity suggesting potential habitability. But there was something else. A series of geometric patterns etched into the terrain, too precise to be natural formations. Alien ruins, whispered Elena, staring at the holographic display. Her heart raced with equal parts excitement and dread. Humanity wasn't alone after all, but what did that mean? A landing party was quickly assembled. Elena insisted on joining despite protests from Hale. "This is my field," she argued. "If anyone should investigate, it's me." Reluctantly, he agreed, assigning a security detail to accompany her. Together, they descended onto the icy surface, stepping cautiously into the unknown. Chapter 4. Echoes of the Past. The ruins stretched endlessly across the landscape, towering monoliths carved with intricate symbols that pulsed faintly with an inner light. As Elena examined the structures, she felt an inexplicable sense of familiarity, as if the designs resonated with some forgotten part of her consciousness. "This technology is beyond anything we've ever seen," said Carter, running scans with a handheld device. "It predates human civilization by millions of years." While documenting the site, Elena discovered a circular platform embedded in the ground. At its center was a raised pedestal adorned with glowing runes. Unable to resist her curiosity, she reached out and touched it. Instantly, the entire structure lit up, emitting a low hum that vibrated through the air. Alarms blared as the crew scrambled back to the shuttle. "What did you do?" demanded Sergeant Rodriguez, the head of security. I don't know," stammered Elena, backing away. "I didn't mean to activate anything." As the hum intensified, strange energy pulses radiated outward, disrupting communication systems and causing equipment to malfunction. Back aboard Aegis, chaos erupted as consoles flickered and alarms screamed. Then, just as suddenly as it began, the disturbance ceased. In the eerie quiet that followed, a shadow passed over the fleet, a colossal shape emerging from the darkness of space. "Oh my God," breathed Commander Lin, staring at the view screen. The alien ship dwarfed the human vessels, its sleek obsidian hull reflecting no light. Its presence filled the screen, an ominous reminder of the forces humanity had awakened. "We're being scanned," reported one of the technicians, panic creeping into his voice. Captain Hale stepped forward, his expression grim. "Prepare for evasive maneuvers, shields to maximum." But before orders could be executed, a deafening psychic wave washed over the fleet. Crew members collapsed, clutching their heads as fragmented images of destruction flooded their minds. The message was clear. Humanity had trespassed where it was not wanted. As the wave subsided, Elena staggered to her feet, her thoughts racing. Whatever these aliens were, they weren't friendly. And now, humanity's greatest challenge awaited them. End of Part 1. Cliffhanger on the bridge of Aegis. Captain Hale gripped the railing tightly, his knuckles white. "Status report," he demanded, his voice steady despite the tension in the room. "All systems compromised," replied Commander Lin. "We're sitting ducks." The alien ship loomed closer, its intentions unclear. Elena stared at the view screen, her mind reeling. They had come seeking salvation, but instead, they had awakened a force that viewed them as a threat. "What do we do now?" asked Carter, breaking the silence. Hale turned to face the crew, determination etched into every line of his face. "We fight, we adapt, we survive. Because if there's one thing humanity does best, it's refusing to give up." As the alien ship continued its approach, the crew braced themselves for whatever came next. The stars had expected silence, but humanity would answer with thunder. The alien ship, dubbed the Leviathan by the crew of Aegis, loomed menacingly over the human fleet. Its sheer size dwarfed even the combined mass of the three vessels, its obsidian hull reflecting no light, as though it absorbed all that dared to to approach it. The psychic wave had left the crew shaken but alive, their minds still reeling from the fragmented images of destruction and chaos. Dr. Elena Voss stood on the bridge, her hands trembling slightly as she processed what they had just experienced. "They're not here to negotiate," she murmured, her voice barely audible over the hum of damaged systems being repaired. "They see us as a threat." Captain Marcus Hale nodded grimly, his jaw tight. "Then we prepare for the worst. Shields are holding, but barely. Engineering teams need to prioritize repairs. We can't afford another hit like that." Commander Sarah Lynn, seated at the operations console, turned toward him. "Sir, we're detecting energy fluctuations within the Leviathan. It's charging. Something? Weapons, maybe?" Hale's eyes narrowed. "Divert auxiliary power to the shields, and get me a full tactical analysis of the ship. We need to know what we're dealing with." Elena approached the main view screen, studying the alien vessel intently. "It's not just a ship," she said after a moment. "It's alive. The way it moves, it's organic in design, almost like a living organism merged with technology." "Great," muttered Sergeant Rodriguez, the head of security who had joined them on the bridge. "So we're up against some kind of biomechanical nightmare, just what we needed." Before anyone could respond, the Leviathan emitted another pulse, a softer one this time, but enough to make everyone flinch. This time, however, the signal carried more than pain. Fragments of information began streaming into Elena's mind, unbidden. She gasped, clutching her temples as visions flooded her consciousness. "Doctor." Hale rushed to her side, steadying her as she swayed. "What is it?" "They're communicating," she managed, struggling to process the torrent of data, not through words but through impressions, memories. They call themselves the Veyrath. They believe we've violated universal order. "Universal order?" Hale repeated, frowning. "What does that mean?" Elena shook her head, trying to focus. "I don't know yet. But they think our presence here threatens everything they stand for. To them, silence is sacred, and we've disrupted it." The implications hung heavy, in the air. Humanity's survival depended on finding new worlds, but to the Veyrath, such expansion was an act of aggression. For the first time, the crew realized they weren't fighting for survival alone. They were fighting for their right to exist. Chapter 2. Understanding the enemy over. The next few hours, Elena worked tirelessly to decipher the fragments of information she'd received during the psychic transmission. With the help of Dr. Liam Carter and the ship's AI, she pieced together a clearer picture of the Veyrath. "They ruled the galaxy once," Elena explained during a briefing in the command center. "Millennia ago, they were a benevolent civilization, guiding younger species toward peace and prosperity. But then something changed. They nearly destroyed themselves through war and chaos. Afterward, they adopted a philosophy of enforced silence. Any species deemed unpredictable or dangerous was eliminated before it could grow too powerful." Captain Hale leaned forward, his expression darkening. "So they see us as dangerous because we've expanded beyond Earth." "Exactly," Elena confirmed. "To them, we're a potential threat. Our very existence challenges their idea of order." "And now they've come to silence us," added Commander Lynn, her tone grim. The room fell silent as the weight of their situation sank in. They were vastly outmatched technologically, outnumbered and completely unprepared for a conflict with an ancient, hyper-advanced civilization. But Hale refused to let despair take hold. Rising to his feet, he addressed the assembled crew. "We didn't come this far to give up. If they want silence, we'll answer with thunder. We adapt. We fight. That's what humanity does best." His words galvanized the team, sparking renewed determination. Plans were drawn up for defensive strategies, utilizing every resource available to protect the fleet. Meanwhile, Elena continued, analyzing the Veyrath's transmissions, searching for weaknesses. Chapter 3. First Blood. The calm before the storm lasted only a day. Early in the morning cycle, alarms blared across the fleet as the Leviathan launched its attack. A barrage of energy projectiles slammed into the human ships, overwhelming their already weakened shields. "Shields at 40%, shouted Commander Lin, frantically working the controls. "We can't take much more of this." "Return fire," ordered Hale. "Target their weapon arrays." The human fleet retaliated with everything they had, but their conventional weapons proved ineffective against the Veyrath's advanced defenses. Each shot dissipated harmlessly upon impact, leaving the enemy unscathed. On board Vanguard, the military escort ship, Captain Rachel Nguyen made a bold decision. Realizing they couldn't win conventionally, she ordered her vessel to break formation and charge directly at the Leviathan. Her plan was simple yet suicidal. Ram the alien ship and disable its primary weapon array. "No! Stand down!" Hale barked over the comms, realizing too late what Nguyen intended. But it was futile. Moments later, Vanguard collided with the Leviathan, creating a massive explosion that temporarily disrupted the alien ship's systems. "Damage report," Hale demanded as the shockwave rocked Aegis. "We've lost Vanguard," reported Lin, her voice strained. "All hands presumed dead. The sacrifice bought the fleet precious time, allowing Aegis and Horizon to regroup." Though devastated by the loss, the survivors rallied under Hale's leadership, vowing to honor Nguyen's bravery by continuing the fight. Chapter 4. A glimmer of hope. In the aftermath of the battle, morale among the crew plummeted. Many questioned whether resistance was worth the cost. Even Elena struggled with doubt, haunted by the knowledge that their actions might lead to the annihilation of humanity. It was during one of these moments of despair that a faint signal appeared on the long-range scanners. At first, the technicians dismissed it as interference, but further analysis revealed something extraordinary. A transmission, not from the Veyrath, but from an unknown source. "It's encrypted," said Dr. Carter, examining the data. "But I think I can decode it." After several tense minutes, the message became clear. "You are not alone. Join us, and together we shall break the silence." The revelation sent shockwaves through the fleet. There were others out there, species oppressed by the Veyrath who had banded together to resist. For the first time since encountering the aliens, hope flickered anew. "This changes everything," Hale declared during an emergency meeting. "If we can reach these allies, we might stand a chance." Elena nodded, her resolve strengthening. "We have to try. Whatever risks lie ahead, they're better than giving up." With renewed purpose, the fleet plotted a course toward the coordinates provided in the transmission. Along the way, they began reverse engineering the alien tech recovered from Proxima Centauri B, hoping to create weapons capable of disrupting the Veyrath's psychic abilities. Chapter 5. Preparing for war. As the fleet traveled deeper into uncharted space, tensions ran high, supplies dwindled, and tempers flared among the crew. Yet amidst the hardship, bonds formed between humans and their newfound purpose. Stories of Captain Nguyen's sacrifice inspired acts of courage and selflessness, while Elena's tireless efforts to understand the Veyrath earned her respect from even the most skeptical members of the crew. Meanwhile, Hale faced dissent from some officers who argued that allying with unknown species was reckless. "We don't know who or what we're dealing with," protested Lieutenant Grayson, the chief strategist. "This could be a trap." "Ignoring the message guarantees failure," countered Hale. "Trusting it gives us a fighting chance. Which would you rather bet on?" Ultimately, the majority sided with Hale, recognizing that unity was their only path forward. As they neared the rendezvous point, preparations intensified. Weapons were tested, strategies refined, and contingencies planned for every possible scenario. When the fleet finally arrived, they found themselves surrounded by a diverse coalition of ships representing various alien races. Among them was Kale, a stoic warrior from the reptilian Zuran race who greeted Elena with cautious curiosity. "You risked much to join us," he said, his deep voice resonating through the translator device. "Know this. We do not offer salvation, only a chance to strike back." Elena met his gaze steadily. Then let's make the most of it. End of Part 2. Cliffhanger. As the Coalition prepared for the coming war, Elena reflected on how far they'd come. From the ruins of Earth to the icy surface of Proxima Centauri b, from the shadow of the Leviathan to the promise of allies, humanity's journey had been fraught with peril, but also resilience. Yet the road ahead remained uncertain. Could they truly overthrow the Veyrath, or would their defiance end in catastrophe? One thing was clear. The stars expected silence, but humanity would answer with thunder. The human fleet docked alongside the Coalition's armada, a ragtag assembly of ships representing dozens of alien species. Each vessel bore scars from battles fought against the Veyrath, their battered hulls a testament to years of resistance. Despite the diversity of forms and cultures, one thing united them all: a shared hatred for the oppressive silence enforced by the Veyrath. Dr. Elena Voss found herself standing before an assembly of leaders, each more alien than the last. Some communicated through clicks and hisses, others via telepathic waves, and still others through translators that struggled to convey nuance. Kael, the reptilian warrior from the Zirin race, acted as her guide, explaining the customs and politics of the Coalition. These are the remnants of civilizations crushed or nearly destroyed by the Veyrath, Kyle said, his voice low and gravelly. They have banded together because they know unity is their only hope. Elena nodded, absorbing the gravity of the situation. And now we're part of it. Yes, Kale replied, his golden eyes locking onto hers. But trust must be earned. Prove yourselves worthy, and they will fight alongside you. Fail, and they will abandon you. As discussions began, tensions simmered beneath the surface. Many of the alien leaders viewed humanity with suspicion, seeing them as reckless newcomers who had recklessly awakened the Veyrath. Captain Marcus Hale stepped forward, addressing the assembly with unwavering resolve. "We didn't ask for this war," he stated firmly, "but neither will we back down. Humanity has faced extinction before, and every time, we've risen stronger. If you'll stand with us, we'll show you what happens when survival meets defiance." His words struck a chord, earning murmurs of approval from some, but skepticism from others. It would take more than speeches to win their loyalty. Chapter 2. Bridging Worlds. Elena took on the role of diplomat, working tirelessly to bridge cultural gaps between humans and their newfound allies. She spent hours learning about the histories and philosophies of each species, sharing stories of Earth's struggles and triumphs in return. Her efforts paid off when she discovered common ground, the universal desire for freedom and self-determination. One pivotal moment came during a meeting with the aquatic Siltherii, whose translucent bodies shimmered like liquid glass. Their leader, a being named Akvaris, expressed doubts about humanity's commitment to the cause. "You speak of courage," Akvaris said, its voice resonating like rippling water. "But how can we trust those who destroyed their own world?" Elena met the challenge head-on. "We made mistakes, yes, but we learned from them. We're here not just to survive, but to ensure no other species suffers as we did. Isn't that worth fighting for?" Akvaris hesitated, then nodded slowly. "Perhaps you are more than reckless children after all." Meanwhile, Kale became Elena's closest confidant, sharing tales of his people's suffering under Veyrath rule. His stoic demeanor softened as he spoke of family members lost to the silence. In turn, Elena opened up about her own grief, the loss of her daughter and husband, and how it fueled her determination to protect future generations. Their bond grew stronger, transcending species and language. Together, they devised strategies to unite the fractured coalition, emphasizing collaboration over division. Chapter 3. Weapons of Defiance. While diplomacy forged alliances, the engineering teams worked around the clock to develop weapons capable of challenging the Veyrath. Using reverse-engineered technology from the ruins of Proxima Centauri b, They created devices designed to disrupt the Veyrath's psychic abilities, a critical advantage in combat. It's risky, admitted Dr. Liam Carter, overseeing the project. If we overload the emitters, they could fry our own systems. We don't have a choice, Elena countered. Without these, we're sitting ducks. The breakthrough came when Kale suggested combining human ingenuity with Zhurin metallurgy. The result was a prototype weapon called the Dissonance Array, capable of emitting frequencies that scrambled the Veyrath's neural networks. Early tests were promising, though the array required immense power to function effectively. Captain Hale ordered the fleet's remaining resources to be funneled into mass-producing the arrays, even at the cost of other essential systems. This is our edge, he told the crew. If it works, it could turn the tide. Morale soared as the coalition prepared for battle. Training exercises brought humans and aliens together, forging bonds that transcended language barriers. Soldiers practiced coordinated assaults while engineers fine-tuned the new weapons. Everyone knew the stakes. Failure meant annihilation. Chapter 4. Testing the waters. Before launching a full-scale assault, the Coalition decided to test their newfound strength with a series of hit-and-run attacks on Veyrath outposts scattered across nearby star systems. These skirmishes served two purposes: gathering intelligence and weakening the Veyrath's grip on the region. The first raid targeted a remote mining station operated by enslaved species. Under cover of darkness, a joint team of humans and Zhurin infiltrated the facility, disabling security systems with the Dissonance Array. Chaos erupted as the Veyrath guards fell victim to the weapon's effects, their minds overwhelmed by disorienting signals. "Clear the perimeter," shouted Sergeant Rodriguez, leading the human contingent. "Get those prisoners out." Amidst the confusion, Elena worked alongside Kale to free captives, including several Siltheri who had been forced to mine rare minerals for the Veyrath. Gratitude shone in their glowing eyes as they boarded escape pods bound for safety. The mission was a success, but it came at a cost. 2 human fighters were shot down during the retreat, and several alien warriors perished defending the extraction point. As the survivors regrouped aboard Aegis, the weight of their losses settled heavily upon them. "We saved hundreds," Elena reminded the crew during a debriefing. "That matters." Hale nodded, his expression somber yet resolute. "Every life counts. But remember why we're doing this. Not just for victories, but for a future where no one has to live in fear." Chapter 5. Uncovering weaknesses with each successful raid, the Coalition gained valuable insights into the Veyrath's operations. Intelligence gathered from captured data cores revealed a critical vulnerability. The Veyrath's homeworld, located near a supermassive black hole, relied on a central control hub to coordinate their empire. Disable the hub, and their entire network would collapse. "This is it," Elena announced during a strategy session. "Our chance to strike at the heart of their power." But reaching the homeworld wouldn't be easy. The journey required navigating treacherous gravitational fields and evading Veyrath patrols. Worse, the control hub was protected by layers of defenses, including automated drones and psychic barriers. "We'll need everything we've got," Hale declared. "Every ship, every soldier, every weapon. This is do or die." Preparations intensified as the Coalition readied itself for the final assault. Supplies were rationed, repairs prioritized, and contingency plans drawn up for every possible scenario. Morale remained high, buoyed by the knowledge that they were fighting not just for themselves but for countless oppressed species across the galaxy. In a quiet moment, Elena stood on the observation deck of Aegis, gazing out at the stars. Kale joined her, his presence steady and reassuring. "What are you thinking?" he asked softly. "That we're gambling everything on this one shot," she replied. "If we fail, you won't," Kyle interrupted, "because you're human, and humans never give up." Her lips curved into a faint smile. "Let's hope you're right." End of Part 3. Cliffhanger. The Coalition launched its daring raid on a heavily fortified Veyrath outpost, aiming to capture a data core containing vital information about the homeworld's defenses. The mission was perilous, with heavy casualties, on both sides. In the heat of battle, Captain Hale led a suicidal charge to disable the outpost's primary defense grid, sacrificing himself to ensure the mission's success. As the survivors regrouped aboard Aegis, Elena delivered a stirring speech to honor Hale's bravery. "He gave his life so we could keep fighting," she said, her voice steady despite the tears in her eyes. "Let's make sure it wasn't in vain." With the data core secured, the Coalition set course for the Veyrath homeworld. The stage was set for the climactic finale, but victory was far from guaranteed. The stars expected silence, but humanity would answer with thunder. Chapter 1: Into the Heart of Darkness. The Coalition fleet approached the Veyrath homeworld, a desolate planet orbiting perilously close to a supermassive black hole. The gravitational pull distorted light itself, creating an eerie kaleidoscope of colors that danced across the void. To the crew of Aegis, it felt like staring into the abyss, and knowing the abyss stared back. Dr. Elena Voss stood on the bridge, her hands gripping the railing as she gazed at the view screen. Beside her, Kale's golden eyes reflected the same mix of awe and dread. "This is it," he murmured. "The endgame." Captain Marcus Hale's sacrifice still weighed heavily on the crew, but his final act had galvanized them. Every soldier, engineer, and scientist aboard the ships knew what was at stake. Not just their survival, but the freedom of countless species oppressed by the Veyrath. Commander Sarah Lynn oversaw navigation, her voice steady despite the tension. "In the air. We're entering the gravitational field, all hands brace for turbulence." As predicted, the fleet encountered violent distortions as they neared the homeworld. Ships rocked violently, shields straining against immense forces. Several smaller vessels were torn apart, their debris spiraling toward the event horizon. Yet the core fleet held together, driven by sheer determination. "Stay focused," Elena urged, addressing the crew over the comms. "We've come too far to falter now." Once inside the system, the true scale of the Veyrath stronghold became apparent. Towering spires of obsidian stretched toward the heavens, pulsating with dark energy. Automated drones patrolled the skies, while psychic barriers shimmered like liquid walls around the central control hub, a monolithic structure embedded within the black hole's accretion disk. "This isn't going to be easy," muttered Sergeant Rodriguez, leading the assault. "Team. But since when has anything worth fighting for been easy?" Chapter 2: The Final Assault. The battle began with a barrage of coordinated strikes designed to weaken the outer defenses. Human fighters darted through the chaos, deploying dissonance, arrays to disrupt the Veyrath's psychic abilities. Alien allies launched simultaneous attacks from different angles, overwhelming the automated defenses. Yet the Veyrath fought back with terrifying efficiency. Their ships materialized seemingly out of nowhere, unleashing devastating energy weapons that tore through the Coalition ranks. Explosions lit up the void as ships on both sides were obliterated. Amidst the carnage, Elena and Kyle led a ground team to infiltrate the central control hub. Their mission was simple yet suicidal: disable the core systems and sever the Veyrath's ability to enforce silence across the galaxy. Descending onto the surface, the team faced relentless resistance. Psychic waves assaulted their minds, forcing them to rely on portable emitters to maintain cohesion. Casualties mounted rapidly, but the survivors pressed onward, driven by the knowledge that failure meant extinction. Inside the hub, Elena marveled at the alien technology surrounding her. The walls pulsed with living circuitry, feeding off the energy of the black hole. At its center lay the core, an orb of crystalline matter humming with power. "We need to overload it," she said, consulting her scanner. "If we can destabilize the core, it'll collapse the entire network." Kyle nodded grimly. "Do it. I'll hold them off." As Elena worked frantically to sabotage the core, Kyle and the remaining soldiers formed a defensive perimeter, fending off waves of Veyrath warriors. Each blow struck against their shields brought them closer to defeat, but also closer to victory. Chapter 3: Confronting the Architects of Silence. While the ground team fought for their lives, Elena sensed something stirring deep within the facility. Moments later, a group of towering figures emerged, the ruling elders of the Veyroth. Clad in flowing robes woven from shadow, they radiated an aura of ancient authority. "You dare challenge the order of the cosmos?" one elder intoned, its voice resonating directly in Elena's mind. "Silence is sacred. Chaos consumes all." Elena stepped forward, her heart pounding but her resolve unshaken. "Silence stifles growth," she countered. "It denies the beauty of diversity and innovation. Your fear has blinded you to the potential of other species and even yourselves." The elder paused, considering her words. "And what would you replace our order with? Endless conflict? Destruction?" "No," Elena replied firmly. "Cooperation. Understanding. A future where differences are celebrated, not feared. That's what humanity offers, and why we refuse to be silenced." For a moment, doubt flickered in the elder's glowing eyes. But before it could respond, alarms blared throughout the facility. The core was destabilizing, its energy spiraling out of control. "It's done," Elena announced, joining Kyle and the others. "Let's move." Chapter 4. Sacrifice and Triumph. The team raced toward their extraction point as the facility began, collapsing around them. Psychic pulses rippled outward, disrupting communications and forcing them to navigate blind. Behind them, the Veyroth elders attempted to stabilize the core, but it was too late. Outside, the Coalition fleet engaged in a desperate retreat. Ships limped away from the homeworld, pursued by Veyroth vessels. Just as hope seemed lost, the YI Central Control Hub erupted in a blinding explosion, sending shockwaves through space. The psychic barriers collapsed, leaving the Veyroth fleet disoriented and vulnerable. Seizing the opportunity, the Coalition launched a final counterattack. Outgunned but undeterred, they crippled the remaining Veyroth forces, forcing them to withdraw. As the dust settled, the survivors regrouped, battered but victorious. Back aboard Aegis, Elena stood on the bridge, watching the remnants of the Veyroth fleet retreat into the void. Tears streamed down her face, not just from exhaustion but from the weight of what they had achieved. "We did it," Commander Lin said softly, placing a hand on Elena's shoulder. "Against all odds, we did it." Kyle joined them, his expression solemn yet proud. "Your thunder has shaken the stars, now begins a new era." Chapter 5. A New Dawnin'. The weeks that followed, the Coalition worked to rebuild and heal. Damaged ships were repaired, fallen comrades honored, and alliances strengthened. The Veyroth, though defeated, vowed to reconsider their ways, retreating to their homeworld to reflect on the consequences of their actions. Elena delivered a speech during a memorial service for those who had given their lives in the fight. "They taught us that courage isn't the absence of fear, it's acting despite it. That unity isn't about sameness, it's about embracing our differences. And that hope isn't naive, it's necessary." Her words echoed across the fleet, inspiring renewed determination among the survivors. Together, they charted a course for the future, a future where humanity and its allies would explore the stars not as conquerors, but as collaborators. As Aegis soared through the void, Elena stood once more on the observation deck, gazing at the infinite expanse of space. For the first time in years, she felt peace, not because the journey was over, but because it had only just begun. The stars expected silence, she whispered to herself. But humanity answered with thunder,